good, people? What is good? It is your boy Cam back with another interesting segment I want to try, man. So, to be honest with you, I like the views that I got on my hits and misses shorts, man. So I figured, why not just do a whole segment about it instead of just doing shorts? So, um, we're gonna try something out today, man. If you watch the thumbnail, or looked at the thumbnail, we will be discussing the NFL draft hits and misses of all the teams, right? We're in NFL draft season, so why not do it, right? Why not do that right now? We're in draft season. We're in a little bit of a heater when it comes to the content we're creating. So try something different, right? That's what we do. So before we get into it, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Get all the content you need, man. We hitting the off season in stride, man. We are flying this plane at a real cruising altitude right now. We're good. We appreciate the viewership. The subscriptions have been crazy. We're trying to grow our other platforms. So if you're on YouTube, thank you. Continue to do what y'all do on there, right? If you're on Facebook, man, come on, man. I got like 2,000 friends on it. 2,000. Should be about 2,000 views on this thing, too. Come on, man. Help your boy grow, man. We growing this whole thing. But nonetheless, man, let's get into today's tonight's business, right? We're gonna be doing this in alphabetical order. So we're gonna start with the Cardinals. Yeah, because typically start with the Niners because they're actually a number, right? But we're gonna start with the Cardinals, man, of Arizona, man. So we're gonna look at the hits and misses of NFL drafts for each team going back to 2000. That's when I can comprehend football, so that's where I'm starting. I ain't doing. We'll probably go back maybe and do the 90s and stuff, but right now we're gonna start off on the 2000s, man. So let's do it, man. So let's check it out here. What we got? So we're gonna start in the year 2000 for the Cardinals. They ended up taking Thomas Jones, right? So Thomas Jones was a hell of a bat, right? But not with the Cardinals. Let me explain. Okay, so you look at Thomas Jones, man. Let's look at his numbers, right? So you're looking at his numbers, right? With the Cardinals, he was kind of, I would say, the backup, right? He was Michael Turner to LaDainian Tomlinson. So I don't know who was there at this time. It might have been Garrison Hurst. Let me see. Let me see. Let me go back. Let me go back. Because I actually want to see that shit. So Garrison Hurst was there in '93, but I don't know if he was there that long. He was pretty good in college, by the way. Nah, so it wasn't him. It wasn't him. If you get in this, if you get in here, man, help a brother out. Who was that starting running back? But anyway, um, Thomas Jones wasn't the starting running back, right? So for his Cardinals tenure, he turned out to be a miss, right? He turned out to be a miss, right? Productive. Well, you know what? I don't know if I can call him a miss. I don't know if I can. Because when I'm looking at the numbers, right, he's in a backup role right now. And that's productive in a backup role, you know? And I feel like in 2002, Michael Pittman. And he says he was injury prone a little bit, right? But He was splitting carries with Michael Pittman. Okay, so that makes sense, right? But but you can tell he was on a heater in '02, and then he got hurt. So if we're talking about his whole Arizona run, I'm gonna call that a meh. I'm gonna say on that. I don't think I don't think he was I don't think he lived up to being picked seventh overall, but he most certainly wasn't a bust for them. And he had to split carries and everything else, right? So I don't necessarily think he was a bust, man. So I don't think that's a miss. I think that's right in the middle, right, right in the middle of hit or miss, man. But he turned out to be a pretty good ass running back as he got the ability to tote the ball and fix these injuries concerns, man. He turned out to be good, man, with the Bears because rest in peace, Cedric Benson. He got hurt and that was history, right? But I remember Thomas Jones really with the Jets. Like he was dominant. And I think he got hurt in the playoffs because if they had him in the playoff run throughout the whole thing, they might have ended up winning the Super Bowl. That's how good he was, man. So I'm gonna call that a meh, not necessarily a hit or a miss in my opinion. All right, so let's go to the next one, man. So look at 2001, right? 2001 was Leonard Davis, man. Let's check it out. Now, I remember Leonard Davis with the Cowboys. That's where he was like the shit. All right. So, was he a hit with them? I'd say yeah, man. And I'm gonna say it's a hit simply because um you're offensive lineman and you fourth in rookie of the year, right? Right? That said something to me. Now, he ended up being moved to the left tackle, right? At some point, right? And I remember being like just a mauler, right? He was nasty out there. But for the Cardinals, I'm gonna say it was a hit. I'm gonna say it was a hit. Only because he was in the running for the rookie team, right? And he played a lot of games. And that offensive lineman, that's all you can want. And they were in transition. So yeah. So we move on to 2002 and Wendell Bryant. This was a miss. I believe, yeah, he had some substance abuse issues. And that was it. 12th overall pick, ended up out of the league in what, 3 years. So that most certainly was a miss. Um, so Wendell, hope he's doing good in life right now. But yeah, that was a miss. All right, so this one, I was looking at this a little earlier. So they had 2 first-round picks this year. Yeah, Calvin Pace and everything, and they both are interesting cases, right? So for me, Brian Johnson, you would think, 17th overall pick, whatever, whatever. But considering the fact that they got Anquan Bolden in the second round, you could say this is a miss, right? But the production I want y'all to see is really what I'm like mostly. What the is this shit? All right, that's really what I'm after. Oh my god, what the hell? Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Well, we always got some problems on this damn thing. All right. But we still cool. We still cool. We still sharing it. We still sharing it. We still sharing it. We still sharing it. All right. Nonetheless, man, let's move this over here and let's open that up over there. All right, cool. So when I'm looking at Brian Johnson's production, right? That's what I'm thinking is makes him a hit in my opinion, right? Because yeah, you drafted him first overall, but you ended up getting Anquan Bolden in the second round, right? So then the next season you end up getting Larry Fitzgerald, which we'll get into. Now you got a number one, you got two number one receivers, and you need a slot guy, right? So I'm thinking he's a hit because of the production, right? This production maybe not be for a first round pick like say you would expect for any other team. But when you have two dominant receivers, you need somebody to fill that intermediate role, right? And I'm thinking that this is a hit because not only was he productive, he was productive in chunks, man. 18 yards a catch, 10 yards a catch, 11, double digits. So he was catching a lot of first down plays, man. So I'm thinking production equals a hit for me. So that's what I'm thinking. So and then Calvin Pace was also interesting to me as well because he wasn't super productive for the Cardinals early on in his career, but the guy ended up with 60 sacks in his career. So he was productive somewhere, right? So I'm going to call him a meh. He's in the middle for me. Just for me. He's in the middle. Because he was productive in that last year in his walk year before going to the Jets and really killing, right? So if I'm really being honest, I'm thinking he's a meh. Because he turned out to be a productive ass player, bro. But not with the Cardinals, man. So I'm gonna say meh, but it's definitely not a hit or a miss in my opinion. So both of these dudes, I think Johnson was a hit and Calvin Pace was a meh for the Cardinals anyway. He turned out to be a pretty good ass player. And then we get into the big money shit, right? Larry Fitzgerald, we already know what that means, what that name means as far as NFL stuff is concerned, man. I mean, long career. Look at that shit. All the way, come on, man. Their best receiver, hands down, in the history of their team. Hall of Famer, Walter Payton Man of the Year. Like, dude was a beast. Like, he caught more passes than he dropped in his career. I mean, come on now. Like, this is ridiculous. And these is what pretty pedestrian quarterback play, you ask me. Yeah, Matt Leinart throwing to him. You got Kurt Warner, right, for a couple years, and he really balled out. But after that, we had Carson Palmer, and then we trying to figure out Josh Rosen and some other people. But Larry Fitzgerald was a was a massive success for them. Let's just say that massive success. I don't even think a hit does him justice. He was absolutely fantastic. We already know. So Antrel Rolle was another interesting one for me. I remember him with the Giants a lot more than I do with the Cardinals. Obviously the Super Bowl champion, everything. But I'm gonna call him a hit in my opinion because he did get one of his 3 or 4 Pro Bowls with the Cardinals. Solid player, tackles, interceptions. He was doing his thing, man. So I'm gonna call this a hit because he was pretty good, right, with them. All right. So then we go to the curious case of Matt Leinart. Matt Leinart was cool, bro. I mean, the Heisman winner, everything, right? He slipped a little bit, I guess maybe because of his arm strength or whatever, but it was a failure for the Cardinals in my opinion. He ended up losing his job to Kurt Warner, who was had a career resurgence in my opinion.
So that was a miss. We already know that. Levi Brown, I think, turned out to be a hit for them. He was there for a very, very long time. And he did his thing, man. Nothing too crazy, like in terms of like nothing too crazy because you ain't really got no stats or nothing. But he was there for a while, and he was one of those mainstays and everything. So I say this was a hit. I remember him being pretty solid in my opinion. So he was all right. He was all right, man. So he didn't play. Like I said, man, he was good. He was good, man. That's all I really can say because there's really nothing for me to go on. But he was good. So that was a hit in my opinion. Then we go Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. I think he was also important for them losing in that Super Bowl to the Steelers because if I'm not mistaken, he was hurt. I think he was hurt. Was he? I think he was hurt in that. Well, maybe. No, maybe it was a year after that. But I remember one playoff he was hurt and it kind of messed him up a little bit. So maybe it was the next season. I don't know. But this was a hit. This was a hit. A hit. A hit. A hit. Being, Antonio Cromartie's cousin has his I would say it has its advantages. It has its disadvantages because Cromartie came in the league going hard, real quick. But the fact that he had the production, man, the production is what I really like. You get 4 interceptions your rookie season, returning for a touchdown, right? 6 the next year, and then 3, right? You do the math. That's 13 picks in 3 seasons. That means people are not just trying you; they being stupid out there because you clearly not understanding how good Cromartie was, man. And he did his thing, and it's unfortunate that he couldn't stay in Arizona long term because oh boy, their next couple draft picks would have been really good. Imagine Cromartie with Patrick Peterson. Come on, man. Talk to me, y'all. Talk to me. I personally think that would have been one of those combinations that could have fed families for a long time, man. That was good. So then we get into Beanie Wells. Beanie Wells was okay. Didn't really do nothing for them um, remotely what they needed. But he did get a 1,000-yard season. So, yeah, you can't really get no much. You get value, but this is a year after they won, after they went to the Super Bowl. So they probably was just drafting for need. And did he give them what they needed? I don't know. But I mean, he was a backup, and he had more better numbers probably than the starter, right? I would love to see who was their running back that year. Damn, that's not the screen I'm looking for. Here we go. I love to see who their running back was, man. JJ Arrington. That ain't really what I'm after. Tim Hightower. I don't remember him like that. So whoever was starting for him in front of him probably shouldn't have because he's averaging 4 yards a pop, almost 5. So yeah. So maybe this is mismanagement on the Cardinals, but I'm gonna call this a hit because he really didn't get what he didn't get the games time he really deserved. And I thought, getting 1,000 yards is pretty good, especially at that time. That was pretty good. Like I said, he wasn't getting no clock for real. So I'm gonna call that a hit. but a miss on the Cardinals because they should have used it. All right, so then we go 2010. Dan Williams, he was there for about 5 years, um, and really didn't do that much. I mean, not too much. Defensive tackle. So I don't know. I don't know. I know one of these seasons, um, they got Calais Campbell in the second round, and he's a borderline Hall of Famer. So you do the math there, but solid. But when you drafted somebody in the first round, man, you're looking for a little bit more production, and that's okay. That's all right. So I'd say this is a meh, in my opinion. That's in the middle. I mean, he did some good stuff and everything, but not too crazy. You know what I'm saying? But this guy right here, Patrick Peterson, I think we all know this is a damn hit. I don't care what you say. This is a hit in my opinion. Um, like I believe he's still playing today. I don't know if he retired yet. I don't think so. But he was a hit with the Cardinals, man. Let's just say that. He was early on. I remember him being a good punt returner as well because he was damn good at LSU anyway. But this was a hit. I mean, the production is there. Not afraid to tackle nobody. He great in coverage. I mean, he at one point he was the best cornerback in football. Like you didn't want to throw his way because he was that good and he'll hit you. So yeah, definitely a hit. That speaks for itself. That speaks for itself. All right, so then we got the curious case of Michael Floyd. Man, Michael Floyd got a little bit of trouble. Um, he got in a little bit of trouble at the end of his tenure with the Cardinals, but productive, productive, man. I mean, yeah, you probably want him to be your number one or whatever, but you still had Larry Fitzgerald at this time, so you really wasn't dependent on him to be your number one guy, but you were more dependent on him to be a solid number two, because you lost Anquan Bolden a few years before this. So you're looking for a solid number two. And, he was. He was okay. I'm anxious to see who was playing quarterback at that time. So that was Hoyer, Lindsey. So that was Hoyer. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And shoot, Larry Fitzgerald probably made him look pretty good, in my opinion. So, but nonetheless, man, I call this a hit. Um, it sucks that he got in trouble, but it's his fault. Um, but I call it a hit, though. I call it a hit. I ain't gonna call it a miss because he was too damn productive. He was real good in college, though. Let's see, Jonathan Cooper. I don't really remember him like that. So he was there for like 3 seasons, seventh overall pick. 3 seasons, didn't really do too much or nothing. I mean, it looked like injury concerns for real, but the fact that he wasn't there long let you know that they saw what they needed to see out of him. So I'm gonna call that a miss. Let's see, Deone Bucannon in 2014. So he was there for about 5 years. Let's see, he played linebacker, so he was like a safety hybrid or something like that. So I'm gonna call this a hit, because the production is there, man. You're looking at, I like the combo tackles or whatever is cool, right? But 93, like he was a 60 tackle guy. Uh, could get after the pass for a little bit, but definitely productive. Productive, not terrible, not terrible. Um, it kind of sucks he's out the league that fast. But Because I think that's productive in my opinion. You up there 80 tackles and stuff, man. 80, 90 tackles. That's pretty good in my opinion. So I call this a hit because he was pretty productive. And I don't know why they wouldn't keep him. You got that kind of production, you should be able to keep him, man. So yeah, safety linebacker. So yeah. So that's a hit. 2015, we going DJ Humphries, tackle out of Florida. He was there for a while, man. He was there for a little bit, and he when they keep you around, that means you did some good shit. You was actually out there doing your thing. So I'm gonna call this a hit, just because you see they kept him around. He's a Pro Bowler. That lets you know that he was good, and he was out there on the field. So availability is the best ability in some cases, and you see 100 starts, 100 games played. So yeah, that's a hit in my opinion, especially later in the first round. That's a hit. So then we go 2016, Robert Nkemdiche. So if you watched football for a while, Robert Nkemdiche was one of the best high school prospects out there. He ended up going to Ole Miss, um, and it comes out that there was some flaky stuff going on at Ole Miss, and that's why he went there, right? Whether it be money, whatever it was. At the time, they was getting benefits that they shouldn't have, and now it's legal and all that, so it's cool. But back then, you couldn't do that, and yeah, he went there. But the potential for him to be uh one of those guys was there, right? But he was okay. He was okay. And the Cardinals kind of bit that forbidden fruit here and drafted him based off of the potential that he had. And there was some character issues as well, you know. There was some character issues as well. But sometimes you can try to change people, in my opinion. But this was a miss, in my opinion. And he was out the league by 2022. Well, 2021, because 2022 he didn't play. So kind of unfortunate because he was just that damn good in high school, and you can see the potential. 6'3", 300 pounds, man. I think he was like maybe 280 when he was coming in. So he was definitely a player that you could build around, but it turned out not to be that. So unfortunate, but I think he's still playing, so that's pretty good, keeping that dream alive. But then we go to 2017, and we go to Haason Reddick, who's had a pretty up and down career. Like, he sitting out with the Jets and wanted a big contract and then didn't get it. And then it like didn't work out. But for the Cardinals, this is a hit, man. Because I'm looking at, let's see, 5, 6, and then a big year, so about almost 20 sacks with them. Um, and then parlayed that into a pretty good year with Philly. Well, 2 good years with Philly, and then went to the Jets and then do shit. So the second half of his career was his fault. But this is a hit for them, man. And the fact that they ended up like, I'm trying to see how he got on there, man. So he ended up signing with the Panthers. I'm trying to figure out how he got there. But that's the draft itself was a hit, right? But you telling me you can't sign him long term and keep him? Nah, man. And then we know what happened with Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen was supposed to be the one.
He's supposed to be the one. Uh, he's pretty good with UCLA, in my opinion. He did some really cool stuff. Um, but he was kind of in a lame duck situation. Like I said, you see it right here, the most ready NFL quarterback, which he was. Um, but he was in a kind of a lame duck situation anyway because the coach of the Cardinals that time was, I want to say, Steve Wilkes. Yep, Steve Wilkes, and then he was fired in one season. So of course, the next season they ended up hiring Cliff Kingsbury, and that's not his guy. So eventually they shift, uh, they ship Rosen off, man, and it sucks because he really didn't get a fair shake, man. Because even though you look at the numbers that first year, and it's not like eye popping or whatever, right? But hear me out. Hear me out real quick. Hear me out. These numbers aren't necessarily that bad, considering how bad Arizona was, right? He working with Larry Fitzgerald, and that's it. That's it. And for me, it's just not fair for him. It's not that fair. It's not fair because you hire Steve Wilkes, and he's thinking, all right, I'm gonna work with this dude, and he's gonna be all right. And then he's gone, and then effectively, Josh Rosen's gone. So I'm gonna call this inconclusive, because he didn't really get a fair shake. And I think if he was able to stay with the team, I think he would have been all right. I think it would have been cool, in my opinion. And then they got Kyler Murray the next year. Obviously, they end up hiring Cliff Kingsbury, like I said. Um, this was a hit. It's been a hit. I want to see what else he can do. He's been a two-time Pro Bowler, Rookie of the Year. Obviously, you know what he did in college. Heisman winner, all of that, right? So he also had options to go play baseball. The Oakland A's at the time picked him pretty damn high. Yep, ninth overall. So um, he had options. But in terms of what's going on with him now, obviously I think there were some maturity issues early on. But it seems to be that he figured something out. And last season wasn't terrible. Wasn't terrible at all. Um, solid, solid. And they finished the season almost 500. So pretty good. You know, he's got, I want to say, one playoff game under his belt. So he's the guy. And I think they made that clear when they gave him the extension. And they've been drafting stuff to give him some weapons. So the NFC West, I think, is wide open this year. So we'll see. Does he take their next stride, or what are they going to do? I don't know. But it's been a hit. It's been a hit. So they hit on 2019. Isaiah Simmons, in my opinion, I think was a hit as well. Um, Late bloomer at Clemson, but he was damn good still. He was really good. Um, and it's been a hit, man. I don't know why they didn't keep him. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't keep him, man. I don't know why they would trade him. And then for scraps, a seventh round draft pick, that's ridiculous. This guy was productive as hell, man. Like 100 tackles, 90 tackles, probably didn't get no starting time in his rookie season. But this production is crazy in 2 years. You know, like what, 200 tackles almost, 9 sacks. Well, not 9 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Like, come on, man. Interceptions, ain't rush the passer, and he can play sideline to sideline. Come on, man.
that's a hit for them, but a miss in terms of management. Why would you get rid of him? That's somebody you could use right now. All right, so then we got 2021, a guy that's still on the team. Was Zaven Collins, man. I remember him in college. He won the Chuck Bednarik linebacker, all of that. So he's defensive, pretty good dude. Obviously, everybody knows it's a risk to take dudes from like group of five schools and shit like that. But it's all right. And so far, I mean, man, no. I think they believe in what they have. And giving him a 2-year contract extension, a couple years ago, I think you believe in what you got. And now that they got Sweat and they might be drafting some more defensive help this year, I think maybe you see an uptick. But so far, I'd say he's been productive. So I call it a hit. Not necessarily a super hit, but productive. The fact he's still on the team and they gave him a contract extension, I'd say hit there. Let's see. So they had no pick in 2022, and then they take Paris Johnson Jr. Well, yeah, he's tall as hell. Yeah. So he's still there, and he started all the games that he's played in. So we call it a hit. He's still there. So they believe in something. So sixth overall pick, he's still there. They didn't get rid of him. So they believe in something. So they figuring out. And then we get into some of the recent people, man. As of last year. So Marvin Harrison, you can say Marvin Harrison Jr. You can say he's one of the best receivers in college. When he came out, productive as hell. Um, He's got everything you need to play receiver in the NFL, man. Height, size, not necessarily speed. I don't think he's that fast, but he does do what it do. So me grading his first season is kind of yeah, you know, eh, like compared to what Neighbors did, and he had the worst quarterback. It's kind of looking like a miss. But it's just his first year, and I say he was productive. And he played almost all the games. So I'd say he was productive. I think there's a lot to be considered. So I'm gonna say inconclusive. We're gonna say inconclusive. So then we got Darius Robinson. He was picked with that year. But he didn't play. So this is inconclusive too. Because he was on injury reserve all season. So he really didn't do shit. So that's pretty much that's it. So looking at all of their picks from 2000, let's reassess this thing. So I'd say there's a lot of hits. Obviously, there's some misses. Matt Leinart was one. Wendell Bryant was another one. Um, Jonathan Cooper was kind of a reach. Nkemdiche, but he made the playoffs, so it's kind of tough to draft later. But then Rosen was kind of a miss on their part, not necessarily him. So yeah, so from 2000 till now, they have hit on a lot of people, a whole lot. So if you're a Cardinals fan, you should be happy about your team's drafting because it's been pretty good. I think their problem is they gave up on some people too quickly. I would have locked up Calvin Pace before he left. I would have tried to keep
Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, I would have definitely tried to keep him long term, especially since you end up getting Patrick Peterson later, right? So that duo might have been really good. Um, and like I said, man, you got some pretty cool draft picks, man. So, but going from like they really had some good ass players going into like 2000, right? If you can keep Simeon Rice, you don't trade him, and then if you can keep David Boston, lock him up for a while, like you got some pretty cool stuff. I don't know when Jake Plummer was there. I actually kind of want to see that. Hold up. Open up another tab. Jake Plummer. I'm actually interested in seeing what the fuck when he was in Arizona, man. Like, I mean, he played at Arizona State, bro. That's the guy you should be building around. You know, that's the guy you should be building around. I don't understand why they would do that. I mean, whatever. But that's just, I mean, then he goes to Denver and just fucking kills. Like, come on, man. Like, that's ridiculous. So, but yeah, so my point is if you could keep one Garrison Hurst, if he can stay healthy with the Cardinals, yeah, yeah, that's one. That's one. If he can stay healthy, that's one, right? Then you get later on, you get Jake Plummer. I want to say you get Jake Plummer in the second round in '97, right? So you got Jake Plummer, maybe Garrison Hurst is your bell cow, and then you add players like David Boston, and then going into 2000, you add maybe Tom. Maybe you don't even draft Thomas Jones. Maybe you draft somebody else. But you got Simeon Rice in '96. Like you got some good ass players going into the 2000s, right? And say you get a Calvin Pace, say you get a Brian Johnson, and maybe Larry Fitzgerald. Maybe you don't even draft them because you're good, and you draft somebody else, you know. But getting rid of like not drafting some of these guys or not keeping them is my take on the Cardinals draft history. In my opinion, that's what I take from it. All right. So, went through it all. We went through all their draft picks, their hits and misses. So let me know what y'all think, man. I personally think, like I said, the Cardinals drafted well, but they gave up on a lot of players too damn fast. And they should have locked them up a long time ago, right? They actually hit on a lot of later round draft picks too, including Anquan Bolden, who was second round. Jake Plummer was second round, right? So they hit on a lot of dudes. Carlos Dansby is another one. Calais Campbell was drafted in the second round. So they actually have drafted very well. They just don't keep them up. But maybe things will change as we move forward, man. But I'd say the Arizona Cardinals, they draft well, man. So let me know what you think in the comment box below on any platform you're watching on Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch, whatever it is, man. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all on the next video, man. And I'm out. Let me find a button. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Okay. Peace.